Hey, good morning, Facebook. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a beautiful morning so far. Maybe it's already the afternoon wherever you're at in this world. And I'll tell you what, I posted a comment earlier about where your stress levels are at. And honestly, I was quite pleased to see a good amount of people had lower stress levels, below a 5. There was some of you that were up high. And I want to give you something really, really practical, something that's not so obvious. And believe it or not, from the health and fitness coach, I'm not going to tell you to go work out. Well, that is one really good way to deal with stress, but that's not what I want to share with you. In fact, I want to give you something really, really super practical that you can use today to help you with your stress. Now, I would say I'm not like a psychologist. I'm not, I would say, the stress expert, but I can tell you, being in the health and fitness industry for over on my 25th year, I have a lot of experience with people who are stressed, typically as it pertains to their health and their fitness. And by all means, if you want to know more about what I do, you can send me a private message. I'm an online coach. I've been doing online coaching for over 2.5 years now. I help specifically busy moms and dads who are now ready to lose that weight and get it off. And they're doing it without long workouts or impossible diets. In fact, one of the cool things is, and I just got done speaking to my clients and sharing with them that it's business as usual, because the majority of my clients do home workouts and they need to eat healthier, which is all things to help boost the immune system. You don't have to worry about gyms closing because the majority of my clients don't work out in gyms. So with that said, I want to come back to something super practical to help you with stress. And I want to share with you really just the next few minutes. There's lots of things you can do. I heard, in fact, in the post I made about meditation and, relaxing breathing techniques and exercise, of course. And some people that stress levels are really low, they're talking about their faith. And I can be completely honest with you. And that's not even what I want to share, but that's really the biggest factor for me. And again, this isn't what I want to share with you because it can help for regardless if you have faith, regardless if you exercise. I really feel that this is something, I say feel, I know for a fact that this is something that you can use starting today, starting as soon as you get done listening to this. The biggest thing you can do to help with your stress, most practical thing you can do, and I know this may sound like really elementary, but you know what? That's how I work. I'm a simple-minded guy. I like basic things. When my hair started thinning out, I just said it's easier to get rid of it than to try to put stuff in there and to try to grow it out or to try to do things. So, and I want to share with you something really personal in my life. In fact, I'm going to do that first because it was something that happened to me in the past. You see, I actually looked at my memories this morning and I saw that 7 years ago, when I had a gym, I was operating a gym 7 years ago, we were doing a boxing, like Friday night fight night, we called it. And what it was to help in efforts to raise money for a mission trip we were going on in Costa Rica with my family. So I utilized the gym and my resources to offer an opportunity to do like this cool fight night. And we did boxing workouts and stuff. It was really, really cool. And I was thinking that, man, imagine if that was now, I wouldn't be able to. Like we would have had to probably close the gym or make some really different accommodations. And, it's something that I think I told my wife, I'm kind of grateful I don't have a gym. This is not being selfish, it's just reality. And I can say that. The big thing is thinking back. Now I think of how I got through some of my stressful moments. And this is kind of like on a side note. Before that, my wife and I were living in New York City when we actually met. And we were two people who lived through 9/11. In fact, I mentioned it the other day. My wife was less than a block away at school taking classes, and we didn't even have phones at that time. We were like the cell phones. We were like the last ones to get cell phones. And of course, everybody after 9/11 did it. But I would say those were stressful times, really stressful times. So the way I look at it, and the way it could be the most practical for you right now, going through these stressful moments and these stressful times, the best way to do it is to think back of how you've already made it through a lot of stressful times. It's so easy to put what's in the past. But one of the things I love, and it was something in scripture, again, you don't have to have faith. You can go back and look at it, and I honestly can't tell you right now because I'm not a theologian where it is in the Bible, but there is a story about a crippled man by a by like a stream or water body of water, and I think it's like a pool of water, and he wasn't able to move. In fact, he basically sat because he wasn't, he was crippled, he couldn't move. And he sat and sat and sat, and years and years and years went by, and he sat. And then he had an encounter with the Lord, with Jesus, and he said to get up. And not only that, he said, not just to get up, he said to get up and carry your mat, pick up your mat and walk. He literally gave directions to him. And guess what? The guy, it was a miracle. The guy, the crippled man, got up and he walked and he carried a mat. And that's what I want to share with you. This is the most practical thing I think you can think of. That today, and you can do this. It doesn't require exercise. It doesn't require having faith. It doesn't require medications. All it requires of you is to reflect back on the time that you were maybe in a stressful situation. Maybe the levels were at high. Maybe you've been in them for a long time. Maybe you've used medication and exercise. But I can tell you, for me, and I've lived, and maybe you haven't had a lot of stress. Well, maybe this is the first time of stress. But I guarantee you, if you've lived at least, 20, 30, 40 years, 47 years like me, you've probably had moments of stress. 9/11 was a very stressful moment in our lives, in my wife's life, and we were dating at the time, but I didn't know where she was. In fact, she had to walk miles uptown to get home. I did hear from her. She was able to use a phone in a hospital to get a hold of me, and I was working uptown in a hospital. But I'll tell you, I've never been probably more, and this, to me, that's why while I'm concerned, I'm not too worried, because look, we've made it through moments like 9/11. We've made it through other moments. I've had, from that point actually and well beyond, so many other times in my life where stress could either occupy and rob us of our lives, or it could be a time to respond in a way that's going to make you not just stronger, healthier, all the above. And sometimes it just takes reflecting back and seeing how you've made it through some of those darkest moments. Maybe for you is, getting through school, getting through your career. Maybe you're at the top, but I guarantee you probably had some stressful moments getting to the top of your career. Maybe in your relationships, maybe you fought broken relationships for years and years and years, and now you're in a really good one. Well, think back on the stressful moments that you might have been in those. So again, going into this season, if there's stress that's filling you, take a moment, write it down, put on paper, get a journal, give yourself a little time to think of how many difficult moments, and I guarantee you probably have, maybe not as many as me, maybe you have more, but it doesn't matter. You can think back of, think of you moms. I'm going to just say this for some moms out there, because I work with a lot of moms. You've delivered babies, for crying out loud. You guys are so dang tough. The fact, I have no idea what that feels like, nor do I ever want to, but I can say is that my wife went through 2 pregnancies. I know they were not the pregnancies themselves, but the deliveries were hard. You survived that. You are going to survive this. So I can just give you some encouragement and just some hope. If you're feeling like you're lost in hope, just take a moment. When we get off of this video, take a moment to reflect back on the times that you had stress and you made it through. Now, it may not have been perfect. It might have even brought on some disappointments and anger and frustration, but you survived, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here today. So with that, I hope this finds you well. I hope you're inspired by it. I hope if you have stress that, we talk about the social distancing, be thankful. Some of you guys bash social media. I hear it all the time. Oh, social media is ruining our families, ruining our kids. I'll tell you what, right now, keeping our kids from getting their classes, doing that virtual. Even our church has gone virtual. Things are going virtual. I'll tell you what, we should right now, today, be thankful, grateful that we have technology like we do so we can continue to communicate. I'm super grateful because my business is running and it's not required. There's no virus that's going to get, well, at least not a physical virus that's going to get, hopefully there won't be any kind of technology type virus that's going to get where I can't communicate with my coaching clients. So I hope this leans on you, and I hope it lands on you, and I hope you take something out of this, again, to just reflect back on those moments of stress that you've had in your life. And maybe if you're going through it right now, instead of focus on what's to come or what's unknown in the next several days or several weeks, to think back of how far you've already made it. Like, you've achieved great things. You've done some amazing things. I've met some amazing people that have not only changed their lives around, but have changed so many other people's lives in their world. They're parents, they're amazing parents and pastors and even some young people who are making a difference in this world. And there were stressful moments all the way through. So think back on those and think back not so much how hard it was back then, but you made it through. So that's all for me. Take care. I hope you have an amazing, blessed day. If you want more information as far as what I do online, I work with coaching. I work with clients, men and women over 40 who struggle with their health and their fitness, their weight loss. I just finished the video and I told them business as usual. Their programs are delivered online. I have a fitness app that I use. They're in a group with me privately. We have connection on a daily basis. Their questions are answered. Their workouts, for the most part, are done at home. They can do them honestly anywhere. And that's a beautiful thing. And you know what? If that has something of interest to you, reach out to me. We'll get on a call. Here, at the end of the day, I do this for a living, but I can tell you also, if you need help, if you just want some advice, get on a call with me, a quick 10-minute call. We don't even have to talk about my coaching program. We could just talk about where you're at. Like if you're like, gosh, man, I did a gym and that's all I knew for working out. I did these classes and now I'm completely lost. Go ahead and send me a message. You don't even have to get on the phone. We could just chat about it. Send me a private message after this, and either we could talk on the phone or we could just do some direct messaging and go from there. Hey, take care. God bless. Coach Mark. We'll see you later.